Hello and welcome to BadorRad. Today I'm going to give you perverts some stuff to look for. I'm not going to show you the game video because I don't want YouTube to ban me and I lose all my stuff. But today, this episode is about nudity in Nintendo games. Now there are 3 Panesian games that there is Bubble Bath Babes, which is a puzzle title where bubbles fall down onto a naked lady, sort of like a puzzle Tetris style game. It's basically Mermaids of Atlantis, but with a naked lady at the bottom. They made another game called Peekaboo Poker, where you play strip poker basically. After you get so much money, you get an 8-bit picture, get so much money, 8-bit picture, so much money, 8-bit picture again. And they made another game called Hot Slots, which is slot machines, and it's the same. Like, you can pick 3 different girls in both of those titles and play against them, and you'll get pictures and really, really bad English translation on them. These cartridges were released in America. They are extremely expensive, like $1,000 a piece expensive. But those are 3 extremely rare titles. Now, a game that a lot of people did play, which is a fantastic game, in River City Ransom, the street brawler, when you get to a certain area, you can go in different shops and you can buy food. Basically, it boost your like HP and different things, but there's one spot where you can go into a sauna and he is drying his back but not covering his butt crack, so you can see the main character's butt on screen while he's doing one of these, drying his back off. If you've played Codename Viper, in the very beginning, I guess he's supposed to have khakis on, but when you're getting your main mission, totally looks like the dude doesn't have any pants on at all. It's kind of funny. Check that out. Now in Castlevania 3, which is over lots of the Castlevanias, they get stuff added in there, lots. That never got caught by the censors, succubuses, medusas, statues. But in the Famicom version, there are boobs on the statues, and there are boobs on the medusas in Castlevania 3. In the American version, they slimmed them down to where the statues have more of a male torso. But if you play the other one, it's dumb that they would even sit there and do that, but they did, and it's there. In Icarus, there are enemies that are fairies, kind of like a fairy harpee variety thing, and the game is just kind of a monster. But if you look in the manual, the actual manual that came with it, I guess the censorship did not look at that, but the artwork for that monster, boobs and nipple, like right there in the manual. One game that I did already review, which is Taboo, the Sixth Sense, where it's the tarot card reading. There is a card that will show up that is a lady holding like a dagger, holding it right between her boobs. There is also a spot where it's kind of like it's a man and a woman holding hands, which is a different card, kind of like Adam and Eve, and they are looking off in the distance and they're holding hands and you can see both of their butts. Capcom's Little Mermaid at the very end, you can actually watch my playthrough on here. When you beat the game, he zaps the Little Mermaid so she can turn back into a human, and he shoots her right in the butt, and you can see her butt crack. So she's nude right at the end of the game before she is hugging her future husband, where she then has clothes on. In Maniac Mansion, the original release, there was a naked statue. Not that that's exciting, it's just another spot, but there is an arcade machine called Tuna Diver, which is pretty funny. I I know in the original version it was called something else. It was like Thrill Kill, I believe, but American censorship or console censorship did not want that on the console, so they took the statue out and changed the name of Thrill Kill to Tuna Diver. In the Magic of Scheherazade, one of the bosses, kind of like a big statue monster, but has gigantic breasts in the center. Not really exciting again, but it's there. In Final Fantasy, the final boss actually has a giant... If you look at it, it's not something you would really notice, but he does have a giant, like, gwar. If you know gwar is, snake penis. And it's obviously a giant snake cock. Something you probably never noticed, but it is there. We only got Kid Niki 1 on Nintendo, but in Kid Niki 3 on the Famicom in Japan, there is a scene where you go up to like a kind of like a cherub statue, and you know they're always peeing, whatever, but it looks more like a pale albino fat kid trying to pee on you. There are 2 games that are rock, paper, scissors games. There's Honey Peach and Wild Ball, where these are also Famicom releases where you play rock, paper, scissors against the computer, and as you win, clothing flies off. In Golgo 13, which is a very difficult game and very, very easy to get lost, but if you get to a certain part in the game, the female character that's talking to Golgo in the hotel takes her clothes off. It's probably the #1 nudity in games that wasn't the Panesian games, where it's just obvious. I mean, it's pretty obvious if you got that far in Golgo, but the Panesian games are just straight up, hey, this is porn. In Famicom games, I'm probably gonna butcher these title names, but there's Momotaro Densetsu, and there's quite a few of those, but there's a lot of areas you'll go in where there's naked girls bathing and like the relaxing areas. I'm not 100% what those are called. I'm not super Japanese savvy, but the little bathing areas, you know, like the steam baths and that. But there's naked girls in there. They don't have nipples, but they're all teaming up. There's usually like 3 or 4, sometimes 5. There's a game called Kaguya Hime Densetsu, where you can actually catch a girl changing in her room. So you're in like a pirate ship, and then it's the pirate ship's daughter, and you walk in on her, and she's doing one of these, like, "Oh, you got me naked," and you can see some side boob action. Another one is it's like Youkai douchuuki. No idea if that's how that's pronounced, but one of the endings, there are several endings in the game. It's like an adventure platformer RPG style game, but one of the endings you can get, there is another one of these, the bathing areas, where you actually get to go into heaven and bathe with a naked angel or goddess, however it's supposed to be, but it is there. I think it's one of the hardest endings to get. One of them you go to hell. There's no nudity stuff in that, and one of them, like, the princess dances for you. It's not really an erotic dance, she just kind of dances. And then there's another one called, it's like Hokkaido Rinsa Satsufin Ohatsuku Nikikyu, I believe. But it's kind of like a point and click style game. And there's an area where you go into like a pool, and there's a girl standing there with a towel, and if you wait, I believe it's like 2.5, 3 minutes. I think it's 3 minutes, but she will take the towel off and get to see some side boob. so far that's all I know. I know there's probably more on Nintendo that I couldn't think of, but there's a lot more like hack carts where fans have made things or, you know, changed things. There's lots of videos where people have given, you know, the Princess Toadstool a penis or something of that variety, where it's just a hack game. Someone took it, redesigned it, and re-released it. And there's hundreds of those. I mean, I remember there were some when you'd get like a small ROM pack or something, and like one of the games would just be like 30 hentai images for some reason. I guess you'd really want to hide something like that. Probably are a pervert. But censorship, sometimes they don't catch stuff. Like, I can understand them not finding like the River City Ransom butt, because that's, you know, you just run through the game. You might not actually walk into the sauna. Some of the monsters and things like that, I mean, that's not really even something I would have paid attention to as a child. The River City Ransom butt as a kid I thought was hilarious, and I still think it's funny. I never had the Panesian games as a child, but if I did, I'd have been like, why are these ladies naked? They definitely are. Like I said, that's all the NES stuff that I can think of right now. There's a bunch of Atari 2600 games, but I'm not really going to get into those right now. But Bubble Bath Babes, Peekaboo Poker, Hot Slots, River City Ransom, Codename Viper, Kid Icarus, Castlevania 3, Taboo the Sixth Sense, Little Mermaid, Maniac Mansion, not the Nintendo release, but you can look it up, Magic of Scheherazade, Kid Niki 3 Famicom, Honey Peach and Wild Ball, Golgo 13, and I'm going to type out the rest of them on here, I guess. I can try to pronounce them again, but I don't think it's really going to help you out if you really want to look them up. I really don't want to type them out anyway, but I'll put them in like the comments down at the bottom in case you guys want to look those up. It's nothing exciting, but it's there. It's in the game. Not EA's in the game. It's in the game. But Nudity on Nintendo exists. You can find it. You can laugh. Check it out if you want to. If not, just felt like doing something else instead of playing a game. Figured I'd tell you about some stuff that missed the censorship in America. Because there was a lot of games that didn't make it here because they were too violent, too much blood. This game's too weird. Naked ladies, yeah, well, you can release that. Just put it in video stores. Yeah, whatever. But, I hope you enjoyed this information. Brett with BadorRad. And, have a good day. This is probably going to be my #1 viewed video because it's just going to say nudity on it. Everyone's going to search for it. But, that's it. Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. BadorRad.com. Subscribe. Watch my playthrough videos. I have fun making them.